Let's complete our build method over here. So let's return a scaffold, and let's provide an app bar and a title for that. So constant text maybe that says confirm booking. Let me press hot reload, and this is our confirm booking or booking confirmation page. From the body of this scaffold, let me first return a form, and let me assign the form key as the key argument of this form widget. And as a child, I'm taking a list view, and I'm setting some padding for the list view, maybe a padding 8 pixel padding at all sides. And now as the first child of this list view, let me provide this title type thing. So that will be a constant text that will say please provide your information. So I am asking our user or customer to provide their information. So please provide your information, and let me provide a style that will be a text style, and the font size will be 16. So let me align the code, and let me press hot reload, and maybe I can wrap this text widget inside a padding widget. So let me wrap this text with a padding, and also let's remove this const keyword from text widget to padding. Just press alt enter and add const modifier. Okay, no, not here. It is actually making the list as a constant, but I don't want that. I want that constant modifier before the padding. Okay. So after this padding widget, let me have a text form field widget for our first text form field over here. So we will create one, and then we will just copy the text form field for the other two. So let me have a text form field, and the controller should be the name controller. The decoration, that will be input decoration, and let's provide a hint text that will say customer name, and also field true, and let's provide a prefix icon for that. That will be a constant icon and icons dot person. And also I need to provide a validator outside the input decoration body. Let's provide a validator. So we have the value, and then we need to check whether it is empty or null. So if value equals null, or if the value is empty, in both cases we'll return a string. So return empty field error message that is actually defined in our constant.dart file. And if it is not, then simply return null. So this is our text form field for the customer name, and I want to put this text form field inside a padding widget to have some space around it. And let me press Ctrl S or Command S, and this is our text form field for customer name. And let me just copy this padding widget over here. So Ctrl W and W, it will select the whole padding widget, and then Ctrl C, and I will paste it twice. So that will be for the email address or maybe the mobile number. And for this I need to change something. First of all, the controller, that should be the mobile controller, and since it's a mobile number, user have to input, so I need to change the keyboard type, and that will be a phone, and the hint will be mobile number, and the icon should be the call icon, and then I think I don't need to change anything else. And now I need to paste the text from field another time. Let me press hot reload first. So this is the mobile number text field. If I select that, so the keyboard layout is changed, and now I'm pasting for the third time and change the attributes like the controller, and this will be for the email address. So the controller will be the email controller, and the hint text will be email address. Also the icon will be email, and that's it. Okay, if I press hot reload or Control S or Command S, so this is our email address text field. If I click this, so we have our keyboard layout, and also I don't think I changed I provided the keyboard type for the last text from field over here. So let me provide that. That will be keyboard type, and this time it will be email address. So if I press hot reload and select this one once again, and now we have this symbol at the keyboard layout. Okay, now we are done with the input thing, or the first section of our confirm booking page. Now let's concentrate on the second section, where we will show some information that we retrieved or collected from user and took those information to this page. Okay, so let's get out of this padding widget, and now let's copy the text that we provided over here, that widget, along with the padding widget. So let me just copy this and then paste it right after the last text from field widget over here, and this time the text will be booking summary over here. So that will be booking and summary. So let me press hot reload. Okay, so now this will be a card widget, because as you can see here, we have a background, a separate background color, and this color is coming from the card widget. And now after this padding level widget, let me have a card widget, and as a child of this card widget, let me have a padding first, and let me provide some padding. So constant all, that will be 8 pixel of padding, and as the child of the padding, let me have a column, because we are already inside a list view, so there is no point of taking another list view as a child of the parent list view. So I'm taking a column over here, and I am making the cross-axis alignment to a start, so that the children of the column start from the left in this case. And now let me provide the children for this column, and the first child will be, we will show this information like customer name, mobile address, and this information will retrieve from this text field widget. And the most important thing is, whenever user types something in this text field, this information will be changed simultaneously or at the same time. So we need to add another attribute to our 3 text from field widget to reflect this change. So let's go to the text from field widgets from the top. So for the first text from field widget, after the validator method, just provide another argument that is onChanged. And onChanged function actually gives us a function and with a value. So whenever the value of the text from field changes, this method actually being called. So whenever our customer try to put their name and start typing, and whatever they type, we'll get the value over here. So for each character the input in the text from fields, this method will be called and we get the value. But we're not interested with the value over here, because we can get the whole customer name or the full mobile number or the full email address at the end of this For example, by pressing this confirm booking button, we can retrieve this information from the controller, but we are just providing the on change to reflect the changes over here. And all we need to do is inside this on change function, I will just call an empty set state so that the widget rebuilds itself. So now let's copy this on changed, the whole thing, and paste it for the other two text form fields. So paste it over here and also paste it over here. Okay, so now let's press hot reload. And now let's go back to the card widget over here. And as the first child, let me have the customer name. So as a text widget, I'm taking a text widget, and that will be customer name. And here I have to provide the customer name, and it will be coming from the controller. So name controller dot text. Okay, so if I press hot reload right now, I think there are some errors, and let me find the error. So what's the problem? The problem is there are $2 signs over here. So let me remove one, and now let me press hot reload, and now I have the customer name. And since it is empty, but it should not be empty because we at the initState function we provided some default value, but the problem is initState method is only called when this state object is first built, and I actually overridden this initState method after the page is built. So every time I press the hot reload button, not hot restart, so these changes are not reflected. So let me press the hot restart button one more time, and let me come from the beginning. So let me select this one, let me select these two sets and go to next. And now, okay, so now you see that we have the default values for our each controller, and this is the customer name. And the interesting thing is, if I now change this customer name over here, so if I change it from ABC, or simply you see that the change is reflected over here. So let me have our customer name just like before. Okay, so now let's complete the other thing or show the other information of our customer. And let me just copy this text field widget over here for once and twice, and this will be simply the mobile number, and the controller should be mobile controller, and this will be the email address, and the controller will be the email controller. So if I press hot reload, so these are the information over here. You can actually put every text widget inside a padding widget if you want some space around each of this line. Okay, now let me show the other informations like the route, the departure time, and we can actually retrieve this information from the schedule object and the parameters that we took along with us when you come from the seat plan page to confirm booking page. Now let me duplicate this line, and now let me show the route over here, and the route will be coming from the schedule object. So let me write a schedule.busRoute and .route name. Let me remove the text widget over here. So if I press hot reload, this is the route name. And in this way, let me just show the other information. It's very easy. I have to just refer the attributes that I have declared at the top of this class. So after the route, let me show the departure date. So as you can see that I have written all other information over here. Let me press hot reload right now, and these are the informations, and we just retrieve the information from the corresponding references. For example, for the route, we have the route name inside the schedule object. We have the departure date as a string. We have the departure time inside the schedule object. We have the ticket price. We have the total seats booked. We took this item from the previous page, also this one, and the discount from the schedule object, the processing fee also from the schedule object. And for the grand total, we have to actually calculate the grand total, because grand total is something that we need to take consideration a few things like the discount and the processing fee. So the ticket price and the number of tickets, that will be multiplied, and if there is any discount, then the discount will be calculated, and after that the processing fee will be added, and then after all that calculation we actually get the grand total. And to calculate the grand total, inside the helper functions.dart file, I have defined a method over here that says get grand total. And you should also open the helper underscore functions.dart file and define this function just like this one. You can pause the video and just define or write the function as it is. So this is a function that returns an integer that takes a discount amount, the total seat booked, the price, and the processing fee, and then I'm getting the subtotal by multiplying the total seat booked with the price, and then I get the discount, that means the price after discount, from this subtotal, and then the price after discount is added with the processing fee, and that has been returned from this function, and this is how we get the grand total. So very simple calculation over here. So we now need to call this function, but make sure you write this function inside your helper underscore functions.dart file, and I think you have done writing this piece of code. So let's go back to the booking confirmation page, and from here let's call that function. So let me call get grand total and pass all the information. So I need to pass the discount, and I get the discount from the schedule object. So that will be schedule.discount, and the total seat booked, that will be our total seats booked, and the price will be coming from the schedule object, schedule.ticket price, and the fee also schedule.processing fee. So now it will calculate based on these provided values, and it will give us a grand total. And if I now press hot reload, you will see the grand total is something like that. And you can actually make this text a little bit bigger because this is a grand total, and for that let me provide a style for the last text widget over here. That will be a text style, and font size maybe 18, and let me press hot reload, and that's it. You can also use the divider widget just before this text widget to have a horizontal line. Okay, so now that we have shown all the information, the last part is to add this button, this confirm booking button over here. So let's get out of this card widget, and let me have an elevated button. So from onPressed, we'll call a method called confirm booking, and let me create this method. So create method confirm booking, and let me provide a child for this elevated button. That will be a constant text, and at capital I say confirm booking. So let me press hot reload. So this is our button over here, and when I press this button, all I need to do is I have to call the corresponding all the text from fields validator function. Okay, so I have to call if, sorry, let's refer the from key and the current state and the validate. So if it returns true, then we will retrieve all the information, create the necessary objects, and proceed for saving the reservation. And if something is wrong, that means if any of this text from field is empty, then we'll get the error message just under the corresponding text field widget. And one more last thing before I end this video is whenever we have the controller, we need to dispose this controller. So let me just define the dispose method override. Let me override the dispose method and let me dispose the controllers as well. So name controller.dispose and the email controller.dispose and also the mobile controller. So we are actually inside a state object. We are using stateful widget, and that's why we need to dispose the controllers. And if it were a stateless widget, then we don't actually need to dispose the controllers, because for a stateless widget, the build function is the only state, and whenever it is called and whenever the build function is done, then all the states are done. So now we have actually created our confirm booking page. Now it's time to proceed for save our reservation. First of all, we need to retrieve all the information from the text from fields, and then we need to create the corresponding objects. So see you in the next lecture.